Talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. The Intellectual Podcast starts now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Intellectual Podcast. Oh, I'm looping on my audio. That happens sometimes. It's been a while since we've done the podcast. So, as some of you may know, this is actually going to be the first episode of our 10th year of the Intellectual Podcast. So it's kind of a big deal. And I've got an absolutely incredible guest joining me tonight. It's someone who's been on the podcast before, and it's been way too long since we've had a chance to catch up. It's Miss Caroline Amiguet.
Yay!
How you doing, Caroline?
Bonsoir, everyone. Hi, David.
I like your little Santa hat. I should have worn mine. I left it in the car.
Season, please.
Yeah, you're very festive. You got your tree up and everything. I've just got an alien head in my background.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but you got something above your shoulder.
Yeah. And Stan Lee. I got Stan Lee up there too. So let me see. I can get a little festive. Let me see what I can do here to try and match a little bit.
I'll wait for you. No problem.
If I open this up, I've got these really cool lamps now. And I can do this. I can switch this. What if I make my light more green? Is that better?
Green is actually
festive,
very
right?
in France right now. So green is great.
Or should I go red? Green? We'll go green.
Well, red is the complementary color of green. But you already got the red from the intellectual in the background.
Right. So we'll go green here.
I think it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah. Bam.
Okay. Bam. See, I can accommodate whatever needs to be done.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I've been doing well. Thank you.
It's been a hot minute since you and I have had a chance to say hello.
You bet. I went through.
I think everybody knows why.
Yeah, I probably went through 4 or 5 haircuts in between. So fast I go through things.
Me too.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say you look great.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I saw your new photos online, but with that filter and things like that, but you don't need the filter. You look great, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Very sweet. I'm going very gray. I'm a lot more gray than I used to be. Oh. I don't know if it's COVID or just that I'm getting old.
Yeah.
It's been a stressful couple of years. I'll just go with that.
It has a je ne sais quoi.
So we have you on because you are doing something that when I saw it online, I just went, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense that she's going to do something like this. You're starring in a one-woman play that you wrote and you're performing.
Yes.
And it's called Pardon My French?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it all. Yeah.
I got to ask, how did you get to doing this? Like, what motivated you to do a one-woman play? And then we'll get into kind of the semantics of what that means for you as an actress and a performer. But what started this off? What moved you down this path?
Okay, well, first, thank you for having me, David. And I didn't know it was the first episode of a long series, so I'm very thrilled about it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, what started it? You remember when you came to the screening of Love All You Have Left, right? Our feature film?
Yes.
Always people ask you, what are you working on?
Right.
And that's when I announced I'm working on a solo show. I was writing some stories that had happened to me here and there, but I couldn't put it together. So I grabbed it, put it back aside, and then and then it keeps hanging above your head, and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I talk about it? Nobody remembers, but I do. It's always the thing. And what happens is I wanted to do to challenge myself into writing my story, and also next year in January it's going to be 20 years that I'm in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big landmark year.
It is. And that's my challenge. Some people run a marathon. I write a solo show. That's what I do.
See, it's an acting exercise workout, right?
Yeah. And what a workout. Oh my goodness. I keep telling my husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I put myself into? Oh, my dog says hi. There you go.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, she went back to where she was before.
So sometimes you've got to just push yourself to do things that are different and maybe a little bit uncomfortable, right? Like that's when we discover new things
Yeah,
about
yeah.
ourselves, about what we're capable of.
Yeah, and I like to write, and I felt like I had something to share, and celebrating that. How would I say that's a little bit much, but that moment that I had, um, where I was brave to move to the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot how far I've come from that, and I just wanted to do it. And then also the thing is, I'm an artist and a producer now, and it's just like it feels like it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And it's something I wanted to say and tell. But the thing is, it's way completely different than acting, than producing. It's just like I pick myself, I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's great. I love the challenge though.
What about your journey did you discover in the process of putting this together that kind of surprised you?
Well, what
Because
surprised
I
me,
always find going back and analyzing my past, like really giving myself the chance to analyze the past. Like I discover things about myself that I didn't realize had happened and changed me in some way.
oh yeah.
So I'm curious what jumped out at you in that process.
Well, that's what I say. For all the people who remained in my life or not, I'm grateful for having met them because I grew from meeting them, and I
Mm-hmm.
learned something. And the goal is to become a better person out of all of those things, and to realize sometimes that what was a challenge at a certain time of your life is actually a blessing because you grew
Right.
better out of it. So, what did I learn? I learned that structuring a solo show is not free writing. it's I had to. I had so many stories that I wrote and rewrote. I had about 60 stories. And then I'm like, okay, I have to put a solo show together that has to be an hour max. And I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work here. I'm like, I have all of that. I can't tell 20 years in a 1 hour either. And so I was like, okay, I needed to mind map what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say. What were the key elements that made me grow? What made me move forward? What did I learn? And and suddenly it became about the hero's journey, studying the structure of it, which we all watch those superhero movies, the Star Wars and all of those. We some of you are. I was not, but I didn't grow up watching Star Wars, so it was not like embedded in me.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I had to be okay. Here's that. This is the ordinary world. This is the call for adventure. This is the refusal of the call. Oh my gosh, who was my mentor? And then it kept going and going like that, and I was like, and everything made sense.
That's awesome.
Thank you. We'll see.
Well, we all like to say, I mean, a lot of people like to say, that in the end, we all view ourselves as the hero of our own journey, right?
Mhm.
None of us view ourselves as the villain.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I think it's beautiful that, like, you sat down and started looking at your journey over 20 years and you could see that journey, that call to action, the refusal of the call,
Oh yeah,
all those steps of the hero's journey. It's not just storytelling, it is our lives.
it is.
We all have that in some way, shape, or form
Hmm.
throughout the course of our lives. We make choices, we make decisions, we take bold steps forward, or we retreat back. And I think that's really cool that you took the time to sit down and mind map out
Oh yeah.
what that journey for you has been, and that you discovered your own hero's journey within that analysis. I think that's fantastic.
Thank
That's
you.
so cool.
Thank you. It's been I think, yeah, hero's journey is the, how to say, is the structure. It's always hard
Mm-hmm.
to, like you say, like we are the hero or we are the villain, or it's my story. It's how I grew from it again and what I wanted to share. And moving, changing countries like that, and coming here with another culture, becoming American, embracing this culture,
Yeah.
having so much more than I mean, my time here has brought me so much more than what I could have thought of.
Right.
And of course, I miss where I'm from, but it's just incredible. I'm grateful.
Yeah. I always my mother was an immigrant, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah,
and I remember at one point talking to her, and she was reminiscing about home and how much she missed it, and
oh yeah.
that's really who she is and where she's from. And I said to her, I said, you've lived in the States longer than you lived in the Philippines at this point, Mom, right? She stopped and she looked at me. She goes, "No." I go, "Yeah, by a good 15 years at this point, you know." And it blew her mind because in her heart, no
She
matter how
was.
long she'd been in the States, no matter how Americanized she had become, in her heart she was always a Filipino, and first and foremost that was her identity. Um, so yeah, I kind of I understand what you're saying there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you've embraced the culture here. You live here. You're very rooted here now. But I can see you're very also proud of where you come from.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
that always comes across when I've spoken to you in the past.
Thank you. And like you mentioned identity, and there is the fact that you were born on a certain land. I was born in France, in Paris. My family is French and has also Creole origins, and my father is Swiss. So I'm a mix of all of that, and it's me, it's in me. And when I
Mm-hmm.
moved here, what people hear in my voice is French. So I'm both. I'm French from France, and I'm French Swiss from Switzerland. And yes, I'm both.
Right.
And now I'm American. And
Yeah.
what is amazing when I became an American citizen is I realized what it is to be American. And when they said, if you are from this country, stand up, everyone clapped. And the Philippines came up as well. And you had so many people standing. And you realize that being American is being actually like a potpourri of everything. Like it's just like
Right.
basically like it's so many cultures. What I love about this country is like we are everything. You hear
Yeah.
accents from everywhere. People have a story. Their parents had a story, and you keep carrying that, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, my mother came from the Philippines. She was 50% Spanish because my
Hmm.
grandfather was 100% Spaniard
Yeah.
and 50% Filipino. So I'm also a quarter Spanish. And then my dad is like white European, mixture. He is third generation American, but
Hmm.
his ancestors came over from England on my grandfather's side and from Germany on my grandmother's side. So we've got a huge mix even
Yeah.
within my own family. Even though when I identify, it's like half American, half Filipino, but the American side is a mixture of like all these other
Exactly.
things
Yeah.
that came here.
Yeah.
If you're not Native American, if you're not indigenous heritage, you are part of the great melting pot that is America, right? Like,
Exactly.
and I do think that's one of the things that is unique in this country and gives it the flavor and the flair that it has, is that there's so much influence from all around the world.
So much. So much. And especially like on the east and west coast, we are so fortunate. It's amazing. And the entire country is gorgeous, so let's be clear. But it's just
Yeah,
like we are like really like when I moved here and I became American, I was just like I could identify with what I was seeing,
yeah,
and that
that's
was
beautiful.
huge. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. So the actual process of taking this to the stage, like, what is that? What has that been like for you? Because it's
Okay,
all you.
it's all me. So it's been like a lot of pressure. Like I can't
Yeah,
do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna cancel. No, I can do it. I have to do it. It's like I'm going like through a change of personalities like crazy every day. It's just like I have too much, and I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna do it. So what happened is like I really had the final draft of my show late October, and I started like I know the stories, they are my stories, I know the order, but somehow there's something different about putting things on paper than being willing to absorb it again and saying it out loud.
Right.
So yeah, so I had enough time to get familiar with it, but I really pressured myself like about a month ago with like, okay, now something needs to happen. I've had a lot of support I'm taking classes at Mesa College now, and I'm with the theater company, and I can use the black box, and I could shoot my poster there. They are super supportive, and I'm thrilled. I'm just like, it's been exciting.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I have to say, like, it's just, we are in a field um, that is so creative, and people collaborate because you can't do anything on your own. And it's amazing when you see all that support, and the yes attitude is just, it feels so good, so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually directed my first little play scene this month in over 20 years.
Oh,
I did Holidays Fringe at Balboa December Nights.
nice.
So I directed one of the 6 scenes that was done in the performances there. It's the first bit of directing in theater I've done since college in the like mid '90s.
And how was that?
It was awesome.
Yeah,
It
theater.
was so much fun. I forgot how much I love theater. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so different from film. A lot of the same skill sets, but just a very different approach. You know, longer rehearsals, and
Yeah,
that thrill of like, you got to do it on stage live, and there's no like cut, do that again, reset to one.
no
You just
backup.
got to
That's
get
true.
it out. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and working with the two actors that I was working with was a real joy.
Oh,
So it was a nice reintroduction to working in the theater, and hopefully I can figure out how to do some more here in
more.
the next year or so.
Oh, it's the best. Actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I'm so taken by my show right now that I would love to. Are you planning on doing it again? On having some performances planned on of that show, or not at all?
No, that was a one-time thing for Fringe,
Okay.
the Fringe Festival, which usually happens in the summer. This was the first
Yeah.
time they did a Christmas thing.
I
So
gotcha. Yeah.
so it was kind of fun. It was like 6 teams with a writer and a director, and then a group of actors, and we had like couple weeks, couple days to
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 make
put
it
the
happen.
the scene together. So yeah, so
Ooh, that's a
it was
challenge
super fun. So it was an original written piece for the
for the
festival.
festival.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Fringe
it was cool.
is on my bucket list, I have to say. Um,
Whitney and I were talking about maybe trying to do something for Fringe this summer. Maybe we should all partner up.
yeah, yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
think that could be really fun. I'd love to work with the two of you guys on stage. I think that'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, and I adore you guys. You're great to work with.
Whitney apologizes she couldn't be part of the
Yeah, where is
podcast
she?
tonight.
Yeah.
She's on her way to LA.
Well.
She's
She's
busy,
busy. What do you want me to say?
She's doing all the things.
It's good. It's good. I'm happy for her. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I also directed my own short play, actually, David,
Oh yeah.
last fall. I mean, last fall was still, but like with it's called 2 weeks with Ma Mère. It's a short play I wrote about
Oh
my
nice.
mother visiting for 2 weeks. It inspired me, and I was so fortunate because I was asked to direct it as part of the program I'm taking at Mesa, and it got
Hmm.
produced.
That's
And
amazing.
and that was my first experience as well. So I share with you the fact that it's just like everything. Every characters. Of course, when you write it, it's also something different. But like there are so many beats, so many things that you have to think of. Like it's
Yeah.
really about like all the senses, the what you see, what you hear, what the light, all of those things, and making sure and directing the actors and making sure they get that chemistry. And
Yeah.
whew, that was awesome. I can't believe this year. I don't know what the heck happened. It just turned like that. Oh my gosh.
Do you think the kind of burst of activity is a response to like 2 years of COVID kind of stagnation?
Yeah, I was not. Yeah, I mean, I was not stagnating, but for sure, I was like the fact that everything shut down, and I was really active with work and doing travel videos with Visit the USA. I was busy, and suddenly it was like, okay, I had to be home, and
Right.
that was very hard. I
Yeah.
realized how. I mean, that must have been harder things for sure, but like how much of a people person I am, or the fact that variety is important, new places, doing like all that discovery was important. I did do a lot of writing. My play is was pretty much written during that time, got improved after, but I wrote a little bit of my show. What happened? I tutored also. I recreated my world. You know, like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, and it worked. And I'm grateful because in a way, it gave me the time to do a lot of things that I couldn't do because I was always keeping my time open for
Right.
the jobs and the
Right.
things, and I could start like I could do a lot of things online. So it was a blessing in that regard. But yeah, I'm sure everyone is happy to be out of it, and some people really had it very hard. Artists,
Yeah. Yeah. Some
we
people did.
yeah, artists, we know how to recycle. You know,
Yeah.
it's what we
Yeah,
do.
I did a lot of in the very early days I did a lot of intellectual universities where we screened all of our short films and then kind of talked behind the scenes with all the actors and stuff and just kind of did like essentially like free classes on making your own short film, right?
Oh,
Like that's
nice.
how we kept busy the first like
Yeah,
4 or 5 months. And then I discovered a karaoke app that allowed me to sing with people around the world.
let's
And
put it on.
I basically spent like a year and a half singing karaoke like nonstop. Wake up in the morning, start singing karaoke with people in Australia, people in New Zealand, you know, and then just as people wake up all around the world, just singing with new people all throughout the day.
I love
It
it.
was it was super fun, but
Yeah,
I
I
but
want to do that.
it occupied a lot of my time. I didn't get any writing done.
Yeah, but you know
I
what?
had I had talked about doing that, but I didn't end up doing that. I just sang. I sang the whole way through,
But you
which
might
would
do.
have made my mom happy. My mom was a singer, so
It
you know.
was your connection, and then
Yeah.
you might do a musical, a short
I
film
would love
musical.
to do a musical.
That would be about maybe a
Let's do a
pandemic and turning it into a
let's do a
karaoke.
fringe musical. We
Oh
can
my
do that
god!
next summer.
Oh, that'd be cool. So see, never like underestimate what happens the moment it happens uh, because it's kind of like daydreaming, or it's like like kind of like putting things in place, and in one moment it comes, and you are like, aha, that was why.
Right? Yeah.
No, so.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it's fantastic. So your play is this weekend, right?
Yes, on Sunday at Zephyr Theater on Melrose, and at 2:30 p.m. And tickets are
Up
available.
in Los Angeles, yeah?
Yes, my tickets are available on my website, carolineamiguet.com.
And I will put that in the show notes so it's an easy link for people to get to. Um yeah, I'm really going to try and come up like Saturday I'm going to be up in Lakewood doing Christmas with my sister.
Oh, I'm glad.
So I'm going to see if maybe I can crash at her place and then like be halfway up already.
Oh, thank you. Please let me know.
So,
Okay?
yeah, I'm definitely going to try and make it. I'll let you know if I'm going to be able to pull it off.
Thank you so much. It
And
means
I hope that everybody who listens to the podcast or watches this on YouTube, takes the journey up to go see you. And
okay.
I know there's a number of people in Los Angeles who listen to the show and watch the show as well. So I hope they all come out.
Oh, thank you. San Diegans,
I just think it's
Los
great. I
Angeles.
think it's great that you're doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I have a lot of people to thank. I found a group of writers through a community in Los Angeles called the Soaring Solo Artists. And that's really how I got the kick of really committing to it at the beginning of the year for now. So that's what happened.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good when you find those communities that kind of push you to do the next thing, right?
Yeah, they actually had a retreat, a Joshua tree over the summer, yeah, and then I went, and I hadn't been out that much at that time. And I promise, I was like, it was so weird. I was like, cactus, cactus. Okay, who are those people? It was so weird. And we rode and everyone was super nice, happy to get together. The place was surreal. And it was, it's a community that is there to really like offer a service to its writers and artists, and you feel like supported. You don't feel like it's like, oh, I'm gonna go on a retreat. I wonder what kind of weekend that is. I wonder, like, they come with packages for that, you get that, it was not at all that. It was really, I felt I was happy. I felt like they were sincere. So it's really nice.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Caroline, break a leg this weekend. If I don't make it, know that my heart's there with you. But I will do everything I can to try and be there. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking this big step. It's a big step to do your own solo show, and I'm super impressed.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. And hopefully we'll have a chance to work together soon, and if nothing else, get together soon.
Yeah.
It'd be lovely to see you and your husband again.
It's about time, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a long while.
And everyone has, but I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad like we are still connected. And thank you so much for making that happen. It means a lot, really.
Of course, yeah. If we don't support each other, who's going to support us, right?
Yeah, right. And then it even make me feel comfortable too. It's just like, hey, come on. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Okay, let's talk to David.
Little promotion's a good thing.
Yeah, pardon my French. I got a show. Yeah, it's on Sunday in Hollywood.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta speak up about yourself. It's okay.
All right.
All right, Caroline. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And thank you all for joining us on the Intellectual Podcast. As usual, please like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, do whatever needs to be done depending on how you're listening or viewing this show. And we'll see you again on the next episode. I'm not sure when that will be. Christmas holidays coming up, but I'm really glad that we kicked off year 10 with Caroline. What a absolutely lovely human being.
Hello there, citizens. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the floaty that will not flush no matter how many times you try in the toilet bowl of crime. I am Darkwing Duck, telling you please, talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. Whatever the heck that means. After all, you are watching Intellectual Podcast with your ears.